Ontario Outdoors here. We got ATC Outdoors. We're going to be doing an ice fishing gear review and basically a video on all the essentials you're going to need this ice season. You can't go fishing without line. You can go fishing without a rod, but you're always going to need line. So for line, when it comes to ice fishing, it's still pretty much the same, but we're going to have a little bit of a difference. Like we did with the rods, we're going to start out early season. We're going to talk about panfish. So for panfish, I have this stuff. I'll be using this year. You're going to see this on pretty much all my rods except for my walleye rod and my dead stick. But this is Berkeley Trilene XL 4-pound, and that's not made for ice fishing. So the difference between running ice line and running open water line is, for one, I do believe a lot of ice fishing line has a water repellent barrier on it, like some kind of coating, and a lot of ice lines, they don't have memory, and memory is basically the coiling of the line from being on a spool or the reel. Yeah, so starting for panfish, this here is 4-pound. Most guys run a 2 to 3, sometimes a 4-pound, but a lot of guys out there, professional ice anglers, are going to be telling you to use 2 or 3-pound. And the reason for that is 4-pound in the summer, I find it's the lightest I'll ever go. I don't think I'll ever go below 4-pound. But a lot of guys say that the panfish can see 4-pound. And maybe that's, for ice fishing around here, the water goes really clear compared to what it is in the summer. So maybe that has something to do with it. But I don't know. But I'm a big fan of 4-pound for my panfish. A lot of guys will fish crappie with 4-pound, but that's beyond the fact. So there's different types of lines you're going to want to use. You're going to either have monofilament, fluorocarbon, or braided line. And I do believe they've just made a new one where it's like kind of like a crossover between a mono and a fluoro. But I haven't really seen too much about that, so I have no clue, to be honest with you. But anyways, yeah, so panfish, I'm going to start off with the typical mono. Most guys will use fluoro for panfish, but I like to use my mono. I've been a big fan of mono for quite a few years now. It's been my go-to for most things. Yeah, so a good monofilament that I hear a lot of guys are using is the Suffix Advanced Ice Mono, I do believe it is. It's this new mono, and it's mono, but it's got like no stretch, kind of like fluorocarbon. And if that's the case, then you're not going to have as much play to it, so it's going to be a lot more sensitive. You're going to feel every individual, movement, and you can control your bait a little bit better. So the next thing you can use is fluoro, which exactly what this new Suffix mono is. It has no stretch, but fluoro is virtually invisible underwater. And if you've been fishing before, you know that fish can see line unless it's thin enough, or unless it's fluoro. But yeah, so for a lot of guys, they're going to use mono for their main line, and they'll run a fluoro leader. Even in the summer, guys are going to use fluoro leaders for a lot of fish. The third one we're going to go to here is braided line. I've liked braided line. I've gone back and forth between braid and mono for years, and basically braided line has no stretch whatsoever, and it's quite a lot more stronger than mono or fluoro for the diameter. So you can have 10-pound braid, but it has the diameter of like 3-pound mono. And for one, that gets you more line on your reel per spool. You know, you're gonna get a lot more yards of line for, you know, less area. And braid is it's a lot more visible, I would say, because it's basically just rope. Yeah, so a lot of guys are going to use braid for their main line, and then they're going to do a leader of either mono or fluoro, which I'll probably end up using that advanced mono this year at some point. But if I don't get around to that, I'm going to go out and grab some fluoro, probably 4-pound fluoro for my panfish, and then 6 to 8 pound fluoro for my walleye. But probably run a 6-pound fluoro leader for walleyes, because, you know, we'll get into a couple 30-inch walleyes once in a while, but, you know, we should have it under control. Anyways, now that we've talked about line, we'll get started on lures. Hey guys, I'd like to say thanks for watching. This is going to be a 4-part series, so stay tuned for the new videos this week. We'll be posting every 1 to 2 days for the rest of the week until this series is done. And hopefully we'll have some ice pretty soon, so we can start putting out some actual fishing videos. Back at the bloopers again.
Yeah.